Hi, welcome to another episode of Book Covers DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to design a book cover for a cookbook. So let's get started. So here we are on Canva.com. This is that free website we use to make all of our book covers. Once you register and log in, you'll be taken to a page that looks similar to this. Now, today we're going to be just working on a front cover because we're going to be focusing on the design. But if you are needing a print book cover, you can still watch this episode and then hop on over to my brand new updated for 2024 paperback print book cover tutorial, where I will walk you step by step through the complicated calculations of figuring out the specific dimensions for your book cover. And then I'll show you how to design your back cover and your spine. So just click on the link in the description box below right after this video ends. All right, so if you scroll through the center menu, you should be able to find a book cover. Here it is right here. If not, you could just come up to the top and type in book cover. It's going to take you over to the book cover templates page where there are currently 4,661 templates. You can scroll through there to find one you like. Of course, they're all mixed up by different genres. If you wanted to specifically find a cookbook cover, you could come up to the filters and click on view more under theme. And there should be a category that says cookbook. You check that and apply. You're going to narrow that down to 82 templates to choose from. As you can see here, you can select one of those and customize it to your liking. But for today's episode, as always, I'm going to start with a blank book cover. So we come up here to the top and I'm going to click on this first option. It's going to take us over to our design area. Here on the right is our book cover, which is currently blank. And over here on the left, you'll find our toolbox and toolbar. I always like to start all of our designs with a photo or graphic. It kind of sets the tone for our color scheme as well as our font choices. But first, I want to hop on over to Amazon.com and take a look at some of the cookbooks they have featured. If you'll notice, the majority of these cookbooks feature one main dish. This one, let's scroll down. This one featuring these like biscuits, and another one down here. Same thing here and here is featuring this pasta dish. Typically, that's what you're going to find unless the cookbook is written by a famous person, a celebrity, or even a celebrity chef. We can see this one here has Ree Drummond for the Pioneer Woman. This is Joanna Gaines from Magnolia Table. Here's Snoop Dogg, Stanley Tucci. So typically, unless you're a celebrity or a famous chef, you probably won't be featured on the cover unless for some reason, let's say this cookbook was featuring like your 90-year-old very spry grandmother who still likes to cook up a storm in the kitchen, then yes, you would probably want to feature her on the cover. But if not, then you would probably want to feature a, one of your main dishes or a variety of dishes or other specific items. For instance, here, since this is a Mexican cookbook, it's featuring a variety of Mexican dishes. Here we have a variety of pastries. This one here focuses on appetizers, so they are showing a variety. And then this one here for charcuterie boards also has, of course, a variety. All right, so now that we've got some idea, let's hop back over to Canva. All right, for this cookbook, we might do a few just so that we can, see the differences. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to get a photo of, maybe a dish. So I'm going to come over here to our toolbar and I'm going to scroll down to photos. Of course, you would more than likely actually make the dish and photograph it, whether, with your phone or, have a professional photographer photograph it. That is more than likely what you would do. You would want to make sure you have adequate lighting, maybe professional lights, or photograph your dish near a window. Let me go in and show you how you can upload your own photo. Okay, so we're going to come over here to our toolbar on the left, and we are going to click on Uploads right here. This brings us to our Uploads library. Any photo or file that you have uploaded into Canva will be saved in this area. So let me show you how you can upload a new file or photo. We're going to come up here to this purple bar and click on Upload Files. And then all you have to do is to find your photo or your file. I'm going to click on that photo. If you have several different photos, you can click on all of them and then click on Open. And it's going to take a second for this blue bar to go across. And once it goes across, it means now it is uploaded. To get it over here on your canvas area, all you have to do is click on the photo and it transfers it over here to your canvas. Now this is just a photo I took with my iPhone of some chocolate pumpkin muffins I made. So this is not really a professional photo. So you'll just place it in the corner, and then these 4 dots appear, so you can just grab any one of those dots and stretch it out. I'm just going to stretch it to the full length of my book cover, and then I can reposition it. Once you have placed it, you can just click off to the side. Okay, now if you wanted to crop your photo, you can come up here to this crop button, click in there. This top part is your aspect ratio, so you can go through there. I think for a book cover, it's going to be the 4:5 aspect ratio, I believe. Or it could be 3:4, I'm not sure. Also, down here is where you can rotate your photo. Let's say it was turned sideways on your phone. You could rotate it here. Now, the reason I don't use the aspect ratio or crop my photo for any reason is because, let me cancel this. It's because once you crop it, let's say it's in this size, if we chose a different aspect ratio, I won't be able to adjust it or change it during the design process. At some point I could decide, well, you know what, the words don't fit there. I do want like a blank area for the author name or something like that. So then I might want to go back later and adjust it so that I can have this blank area to put my author name or book title or something like that. So by not cropping it allows me the freedom to move it about later in the process. All right, so that's how you can upload your own photos into Canva. All right, so now I'm going to delete this photo. I'm just going to click on it and click the little trash can. I'm going to come over here to our toolbar, and I'm going to scroll down to photos. So here I am under photos, and as you can see, our toolbox changed. I'm going to search for, let's try a pasta dish. Let me click on this one right here. Now you'll notice some of these photographs have crowns in the corner, and when you hover over it says Pro, which means those are only available with Canva Pro. This is the paid version. So if you want to filter those out, you can come up here, click on these 3 little lines, and you're going to get a new menu. You're going to click on free under the price category, and then just click off to the side, and then you'll notice that all of the paid photos have been removed. So now we're left with only the free options. If it was like 101 things to do with pasta, you could choose something like this. And then if it was like how to make your own pasta, you might want to choose something like that. All right, so we kind of got a variety here. We're going to do 4 options. It's going to be really quick and easy. You'll see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of add a page, it's going to give me a blank page. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to delete that. I want to come up here to this upper right, and where it says duplicate page, it's going to duplicate everything right here. I'm actually going to do that again. Hit duplicate page. Now I have 3. I need 1 more duplicate page. Okay, so now I have 4 pages. Each has those 4 photos on it. So now what I can do is I can get rid of all but one. So on this first page, I'm going to click on this overhead pasta dish and click the little trash can. That's going to delete that. I'm going to delete this homemade pasta and then delete this one here. So I'm left with only this first photo I chose here. Now on the second page, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to keep a different photo. So I'm going to delete that guy there. Let's see, I'm going to delete this homemade one, and I'll delete this overhead one. And then for this one, I'm just going to keep all of these different pastas. I'm sure you understand what I'm doing now. I'm going to get rid of the pasta, get rid of this one, get rid of the guy, and now I'm left with the overhead one. So let's see, all I need left is the homemade pasta. Okay, so delete, 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 and then this one we're left with the homemade pasta. So we should have 4 different book covers with 4 different photos. Now I'm going to show you how we can customize each one. Okay, so for this one here, we are just going to line it up in the corner. You just click on it, and then you're going to get 4 little dots. You're going to grab one of those dots and stretch it out until it covers your entire book cover. If you want to center it, you're going to see the cross lines. Once it's perfectly centered, it does not have to be perfectly centered. You can move it however you like. Okay, now one thing you need to take into consideration when you're selecting your photos or, actually photographing your dishes is to make sure you leave some voided areas or blank spaces so that you can put your book title and your author name. So this is a great photo. Same thing here. This is a great photo because you can stretch it out and then you can place it however you want. Let's say if you want to feature the bowls and just, this loose pasta with 1 spoon, or you can slide it over here and feature these spoons with the little pasta bundles and this wheat up here. So you have a variety of options with this one. Okay, and then this one is our overhead shot, which is what we kept seeing on Amazon. I'm going to stretch that one out. I'm going to switch it. This photo is a little bit blurry, so I'm just going to delete that one. Let's try this one. This one looks nice. Okay, same thing. I'm going to stretch that out. Be careful when you're choosing your photos too, especially if you're photographing your own dishes. Take way more than you need of photos because, you know, some might be blurry without even realizing it, and you won't know till you're already sitting down at your computer. Okay, so now let's go to this fourth one here, and we're just going to stretch out the corner. Let me see if there's another option for this one as well. I'm going to go over here to where it says pasta. Okay, yeah, I typed in pasta machine. Let me go ahead and delete this one because you can't really see the machine, and I do want to be able to see that. So we do have some new options here. Okay, this one's probably a good one. All right, now these photos are great. If you wanted to make some changes in your photos, maybe the lighting wasn't great or something like that, let me show you how you can do that. So for instance, this one here, I'm going to click on it because it's, you know, really bright. You're going to click on edit image. It's going to bring up all these new tools. Now you can always go in there and click on filters, or the one I typically use is photogenic. If you click under see all, there's a lot of filters in here categorized by, you know, natural, warm, cool. So let's say your lighting was a little bit too yellowish. Let's say your photo came out like this. See, it's a little bit too yellowish. You might want to click on one of these like this Nordic, and it's going to kind of take out the yellow. Of course, the photo I had already looked great, so this is not a good example, but I just want you to know that you can go in there. Let's say you wanted some soft lighting on your food. You can go under the category of soft, and it will change that. So if your photo is not perfect, you can always go in here and make some changes. I'm going to go back to none because that photo looked pretty great as it is. Another option is to come up to this adjust and click on see all. That's going to give you your manual adjustment. So you can go in one by one, like here's the brightness. See, it's getting brighter. Mine was at 0. So if mine was a little bit bright, you can actually lower the brightness. So it gives a little bit more shadow. I might actually do that, like a -2. Here's your contrast. All of these will make changes in your photo. So you can go through there one by one and adjust it as needed. For instance, if you wanted it slightly warmer, you would go and it's going to add, see, it's adding some yellow. Or if it was too yellow, again, you could come in here and reduce that. It's going to add some blue-green tones to it. So you can make some adjustments. All of these photos I chose are pretty great, so I'm going to leave them as is. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up to this first one, and we're going to be working on this page 1. I'm going to go ahead and come over here to text, and I'm going to click in there. It's going to give me all of these different text options. If you scroll down, you're going to see there are some pre-made titles, so you can choose one of those if you like. Some of those are only available with Canva Pro, but you can see all of these, and there's more down here that are free. So if you want to choose a pre-made title, you can. I prefer to just make my own, so I'm going to come up here to the default text styles, click on add a heading. It's going to give me a text box over here on my book cover. For this one, I'm going to write... Okay, so for this one, I got the idea to call this one pan pasta dishes. I don't know if I'm going to use the same font for both. So right now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and duplicate this. So right above your text box, there's your trash can, but to the left of that says duplicate. It's going to create a second or a copy of that. Okay, so I have 2 text boxes here. So that way if I want to use different fonts, I can. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find a cursive font for this one pan. So I'm going to click on there, and then we're going to come up here to Canva Sans. Please don't ever leave your font as Canva Sans. We're going to click in there, and then we're going to get all of these different font choices. As you can see, some of them do have the crown, but there are many, many choices that are available with the free. One tip I have for you is to never pick a font that is hard to read. Here's one, for instance. Okay, you can't really tell at all what it says, and it's hard enough to read when it's stretched out large like this. But imagine anytime you list your book for sale on any kind of marketplace, it's going to be shrunken down to a thumbnail size image, and you are definitely not going to be able to read a font like this once it's a thumbnail size. So make sure you select something that is clear and something you can read at just a glance. All right, so now I'm just going to go through here and try to find a cursive font. Okay, so I'm going to pick this one here. It just says it's called Best Light, and you can see it says one pan right there. We can make that larger. Now I want to choose a font for pasta dishes. I'm going to choose more of a block font. Okay, I like this one here called Lavello. It has it in all caps. We can either center that, or we can make this 2 lines. So let's see what it looks like with 2. So I'm going to click on pasta dishes. I'm going to duplicate it and bring that down. On this one, we're going to delete pasta. And then on this one, we're going to delete dishes. Or maybe we should say recipes. I'm going to delete recipes. Okay, so I'm going to change that to this Anton and leave it in all caps. So now we've changed the title. So now it's pasta for 1. It is currently center aligned right here. We can change that. We want it aligned to the right. So there's left align and then there's right. Same thing with pasta. We want that aligned to the right. Okay, so let's change the color. We're going to click on pasta. And then we can come up here to this A with the text color bar beneath it. That's going to give us our color palettes. We can go down here to default colors and choose one of these colors. Here in the center it says photo colors. Anytime you select a photo in Canva or bring in one of your own, it will break down that photo to create a color palette. So here is our pasta photo, and you can see it's broken down the colors. So we have all these options here. If we want to choose our own color, we can come up here to this little rainbow box, click on add a new color. Now we can use the sliders to select a color, and then we can use this slider to select the shade. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little eyedropper tool, and I'm going to drag that over the pasta. And let me find one of the lighter colors, like it's kind of like a golden. And when I click on there, you can see the word pasta changed to match that. You can do that again and over another area. You just have to find the right little pixel, and you can see, okay, I like that one. That's a little bit more yellowish and warmer, and it goes along. You can also do it over the Parmesan. See right here. I'm going to click on that, and it made it even brighter to match the Parmesan, but I want to go back to that golden yellow. It looks more like the pasta color, so I'm going to do undo right here. If you ever need to undo your last move or last change, you can click on undo. And then for 1, we can either match that, so it looks like that, or we can use a different color. But I'm going to just go ahead and leave it white so that it stands out. Okay, so we have pasta for 1, and then we can add a tagline. If you've lost this area, just click on text again. This time we're going to go on a subheading. Let's say this is 50 recipes for singles. Okay, so I'm just going to choose a different font. Okay, I like that one there. And then let's choose the color to match pasta. All we have to do is come up to this A. Now Canva saves it for us, so you can see here under document colors, there is that golden yellow. All right, and then now we just need to put an author name. So for author name, I'm just going to click on pasta, duplicate that, bring that down for right now. Instead of Julia Child, we'll say Julie Wild. And then I definitely want to make this much smaller. And then depending on where I'm going to place it, let's say I'm going to place it in the center down here. I'm going to come up here to the alignment. I want to have it center aligned like that. So let's change the color just to plain white. If you're having trouble finding the center line, let me show you something else you could do. You come up here to position, click on position, and you're going to have 2 tabs here. Make sure you're on the arrange tab, and then if you come to the middle part, you're going to see it says center. Watch over here when I click on center, watch it jump over to the center. Okay, so it will automatically center it for you if you are having trouble finding the center of that. Okay, the only thing is I think I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing this font, so we need to choose one that allows us to choose a bolder font. Okay, I chose this one instead because you can see that 50 better. I'm going to make it slightly smaller. Let's say a cookbook for shingles. I think that looks better. I don't like the way it said the 50. All right, so I think we're done with this first book cover. You can see how quick and easy we were able to do that one. Let's move on to this one. The first thing I want to do is I want to fade this photograph. So I'm going to click on the photo of the pasta, and right above it, I'm going to get an option, this little checkerboard option. This is transparency. You can click in there, and right now it's at 100. It's full color, but look what happens if I fade it. It can go all the way until 0 until it's invisible. Let me try 85. Maybe we'll actually start with 80. Okay, and then I'm going to click off to the side. See, it kind of faded the photograph so that we will be able to make sure that the wording stands out. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually going to use that same. I like this way this pasta one looks. So I'm going to right click and then click on copy. Then I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to make sure I've clicked on page 2, right click and paste. Okay, so you can see the word pasta transferred over. I'm going to change the color, of course, because you cannot see it. So let's click on that A. Okay, now look, if you notice here, now our color palette changed to match this photograph. Again, we can go into the color here and change that. Let's say we wanted a brown. Let's go to this brown and then let's click in there. And so we have the option of changing the slider to darken it. I think I like that. And okay, so I want to come over here to text and click on add a heading. On this text box, I'm just going to write, let's actually do 101 instead of 100. Let's bring that up. Let's choose a font for this. So I'm going to come up here to Canva Sans. So I like this one. It's Alpha Slab 1. We want this really, really big. And then this one, we are going to want to align it to the left. And we need to make sure that pasta is also aligned to the left. And then I want to choose another font. Let's see about this for 1. I'm going to copy it, come down to this one, make sure I click on the picture, and then paste it. And this one, I'm going to change it. Instead of saying for 1, I'm just going to say recipes. Make sure we align it to the left. Let's go ahead and change the color. And you can see right here, it saves the colors review. So I'm going to keep it with that brown. If you wanted to change this color, you could. Okay, for this one, I'm just going to duplicate pasta. And we're going to write recipes. Okay, again, we can check to see if this is where we want the background photo. I'm going to click on the photo and slide that over just to try out our other options. Okay, let's see how it looks here. Let's click off to the side. And then this time we're going to take all of these items and place them up here. We want it aligned to the right now. So it's always good to make a couple of different versions to see how exactly you want it to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on 101, hold down Shift, click on pasta and hold down Shift and click on recipes. That's going to place them all in one box where I can move them around together. Now, another thing I can do is if I want to group them together, I can click on group and now they're in a purple box. So when I click off to the side and click back on them, I can move them all. I can stretch them or shrink them. Now I can always ungroup them if I wanted. All right, so now I'm going to ungroup it. I'm going to click on pasta and I want to change that color to pure black. I wasn't sure earlier, but yeah, I think it's going to be better to have it as pure black. And then this blue, I'm going to come up here on the 101 and click on effects and let's do an outline. So that's going to help it stand out. When you click on outline, it's going to default to just a darker color of what you're already using. Let's click in there and let's choose black. And then we can increase the thickness around that if we wanted to. I'm going to leave it about, maybe let's do 75. If that blue is not bright enough, I can click in the A and lighten it. Maybe this medium blue. This is a little bit dark. So maybe this middle section. Again, you can come up here to the color box and adjust it however you want it and click off to the side. Okay, again, let's click on the back and let's fade it a little bit more. It's at 80. Let's try 75 just so that the font stands out even better. And then click off to the side. Now we just need to put our author name. So I'm just going to click on recipes, duplicate that, bring that up here. And let's just use that same name, Julie. We definitely need to make that way smaller. Let's try with 80. All right, so now we are done with our second cookbook. Let's hop on over to the third one. This one here, I'm just going to probably just use the same font. Again, you can go in and change it. I'm going to copy it, make sure I scroll down and paste. This one I'm going to call, let's say these are vegan pasta dishes. For this one, I want to center align it. So I'm going to come to the alignment and click on it till it just shows the center. And I need to make that larger. Now, since this one we are trying to emphasize, that it's vegan, we may want to choose a sort of a green color, something fresh. It has broken down our color scheme right here into our with that new photo, but I want to choose something like this green or something very fresh. I think I want to choose this green. Let's go to effects and add an outline maybe. And let's change that outline to black. And we want this to be the largest word because we want to focus on the fact that these are vegan pasta dishes. Let me go back up here. I want to choose this one. I'm going to copy, bring it down, make sure I click on this paste, and of course you cannot see that. I want to center align that, and then I definitely need to change the color. Okay, I think this one I might choose black. I actually might have to adjust. Let's make vegan smaller, and let's bring pasta up here, make that smaller as well. Yeah, I'm going to take off that outline because it was taken away and I want it to appear very like fresh Okay, so let's call this the Vegan Pasta Cookbook. Let's duplicate this. We're going to make a very small "the." Let's make that really small. Bring it up here and let's change that to just black. And then let's make sure we align that to the left. Let's duplicate that. We're going to actually need to stretch it out first. Let's write Cookbook. And this one we're going to place over here. This one I want to align to the right. Let's go ahead and grab each item. I'm going to hold down Shift and click on each text box, and that's going to group them together. That allows us to shrink it or stretch it and place it however we want it. We can center it right here. All right, and so now we just need to put a author name. I'm going to duplicate Cookbook, and we will just stick with our Julie Wild. I'm going to center this, so we're going to come up to our alignment and center, align that, place it in the center, bring it up. There is our third cookbook. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then now here's this one, which we will just, let's take pasta, copy it, and paste it. I'm going to change this to, right now, I'm just going to change it to white, and let's change that to homemade. All right, and then let's go up to, let's get this pasta. We're going to right click, copy, bring it down here and paste it. Of course, we need to change this. I'm just going to change it to white right now. Let's duplicate. Actually, I'm just going to take the from this one. We're going to copy it, bring it down here. Let's change it to white for right now. The homemade, we'll just call this the Homemade Pasta Cookbook. I'm going to duplicate the. Again, you can always go and change the font by clicking on the down arrow. And we need to make this larger. I'm going to right align that. Make sure this one is left aligned. Okay. And these are all fine. All right. So now just need to adjust sizes and colors and things like that. Bless you. That was my doggy. I don't know if I like this font for homemade. Let me try one similar. There are some similar to that. Okay, I like this one, Angelina. We're going to use this one. Let's bring that up. All right, now let's change our colors. Okay, so let's click on homemade, and then we're going to come up here to this A, and let's see. Here's some of the colors that we've already used. Let's see if we change pasta. Okay, I like the way that looks. Let's bring that up slightly. Okay, I'm going to click on Shift and hold each text box, and I'm going to group those together so it's one box. That way I can move them around. I'm going to move them up and center them. Right now all we need to do is to put an author name down here. I'm going to ungroup it so I can click on Cookbook. I'm going to duplicate Cookbook. I'm going to get a second one. Let's bring it down here and let's put our author name. I want to make sure we match your color, so let's switch that right here. Ooh, it's a little bit hard to see. Well, I guess this is a good chance to show you. Okay, so let's look down here at Julie Wild. You can't see it too well against this flower background. You can always move it over here to the shadow area. Let me zoom out so you can see. So that's a quick fix to just move it over into this area. But let's say there's not a quick fix. Let's say it was light on both spots. Let me show you something you can do. Let me move it back over here. Now, if you can't see a light font against a light background, there's something you can do. You can click on the text box and then come up to Effects. Okay, and then when you click on Effects, you're going to get some options over here. This one here is Shadow. If you click in there, it's going to create a shadow, but it defaults to the color you're already using. So you can see right here, it's like this gold. We need to change that. So click in the box, and I'm going to just select black. And you can see it made a black shadow. Let me zoom in a little bit more. But it is kind of see-through because the transparency is at 40. We can increase the transparency by moving the slider all the way to the right. You can see the black became a solid black. So now you can actually see the words against that dark background. Let me zoom back out so you can see what I mean. All right, guys, so I think we are done with this. Well, today was a huge challenge. Usually I do at least two, which, you know, they're usually pretty similar. I just take one, duplicate it, and change some things up. But so today was a huge challenge for me. We were able to do 4 different, totally different cookbook covers in one session. So let me show you how we can download these and check them out side by side. First thing I want to do is I want to come up here and change the project name. I'm just going to say these are pasta cookbook covers, right? And then now I'm going to click on share, download. It's going to default to PDF standard. This, I'm not printing anything today, so I'm just going to click PNG. Since I created 4 covers, it's going to download all 4. If for some reason you made several and you only want to download one, you would click on this down arrow and you can go and select or deselect the ones that you want or don't want downloaded. So I'm going to leave all pages checked and click on done and then download. It's only going to take a few minutes. Then it's going to download in a zip file, again, because I downloaded more than one. If you're just doing one, it's just going to go straight to your computer or your downloads, wherever you save it. All right, so let me go to my downloads. I'm going to click on the zip file. It's going to open in a folder. And let me open all of these and we will check them out. So here's our first cover, Pasta for One. We just took one of the stock photos there in Canva. They are royalty free. You can use them for commercial use. It says right there in the licensing for ebook or print book. Okay, then the second one we made is this one here, 101 pasta recipes. Again, we took one of their stock photos. We adjusted the transparency to lighten it, to make it a little bit more faded so that the title would stand out. And then we just chose a very simple title, 101 pasta recipes. We made sure to change this color so that the 101 stood out among everything else. And then we just have our author name here. The third cookbook we made here is the vegan pasta cookbook, which I'm not even sure how that works. I'm sure there's a way. I just don't know anything about vegan recipes, but I'm sure there's probably a way to do this. But anyway, we wanted to emphasize that this is vegan and that the ingredients are fresh. So we utilized this green here to make it stand out. We used a different font for pasta, and then the cookbook, we made those smaller. This cover, we took a lot of inspiration from all of the covers we saw on Amazon, where it focuses on like an overhead shot on one dish. It has fantastic lighting. The first photo I chose did not, and also it was blurry. This one is, you know, very clear. Again, you want to make sure that you are using a photo that is crystal clear. If you zoom in, zoom out, sometimes it gets pixelated. So make sure you use a good photo, a professional photo, or you have a very good camera on your phone. And make sure you are by a window or somewhere where there's good lighting. All right, so that was our third cookbook. And then our fourth and final cookbook is this one here, the homemade pasta cookbook, which we started off with a different photo where you really couldn't see the pasta machine. And so I wanted to make sure that we could see that. This photo was much better because it also, you know, featured the dough in the background, where that first photo I had didn't. We just added the homemade pasta cookbook. We changed the font for homemade to emphasize that. Use the same gold color that matches the pasta. And then we put our author name down here. Again, I showed you how to add a shadow. We can actually have done that to homemade as well, to make it stand out a little bit more against that wooden background. We could have added a shadow to that. This is what's so great about Canva is, let's say after you downloaded that, you realize that like, oh, I can't really see that homemade very well. You can go right back in there and make any adjustments along the way. For instance, I'm going to click on homemade, go to effects, and let's just go to shadow, and let's just do that right now. We're going to change it because it defaults to the same color. Let me zoom in for you guys to see. I'm going to change that to black. And I'm going to increase the transparency 100%. Now, one thing on this one, I noticed that the shadow is a little bit far away from the letters. Let me zoom in so you can see. Look right here on the E. Do you see how far the shadow is away from the E? You can adjust that with this slider that says offset. Watch as I increase it. It's going to get farther away from the letters. And then as I decrease it, it's going to, you know, get completely even, which is just pointless. But so I'm going to, let's see, I think it was like at 40 or something. I want to put it at 30 because I want it to be, see, I want to close the gap right there. Direction is a direction of the shadow. Let's say right now the shadow is going, let's see, to the lower right. Let's say you want to adjust that. I'm going to remember it's at -45. But if you wanted to adjust it and make it go to the upper left, you could. I'm going to put it back where it was, -45. Okay, so now look how well the homemade stands out. Let's say you wanted to download just that one. All you have to do is come up here to share, download. Let's change this to PNG. And then right here in the select pages, I don't want to download all 4 because I'm happy with the other ones. So I'm going to uncheck all 4 and I'm going to go just check page 4. That's the only one I want to download. I'm going to click on done and download. Let's go into downloads and here it is. Okay, so here's the first one we did. We left homemade flat. And then here we went in and made that adjustment and we added the shadow to homemade. So you can see it stands out much better against that background. You can also go back and add a shadow to pasta if you wanted to. This is exactly why I do these videos for, writers or anyone that's wanting to self-publish, because you have total control over your book cover and any changes you want to make. You can just go right in there and do it. And you can see it took me, like 2 minutes to make that change. All right, so that's it for today's video, guys. Make sure to click the link below to hop on over to my print paperback tutorial that's going to guide you through the steps of creating the back cover and spine of your cookbook. Thank you for your patience today. This was a huge challenge. I've never done 4 in one session. I hope this video helps you in any way. If it did, please let me know in the comment section below. I love hearing feedback from you guys. And if you'd like to support my channel, I do have a Patreon. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. It allows me to make videos more often for you guys. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for liking and commenting. Until next time, bye-bye.